The Protractor tool, which is right under the tape measure tool, is another useful tool. Not one that I believe you'll ever use anywhere nearly as often as the tape measure, but it definitely comes in handy and it's good to know, and it falls in line with the same. It's basically the same type of tool. This is really a tool that you use to create angled guides or guides that follow that offset an angle off of an existing line. So the way this works, it looks exactly like the rotate tool, and it works exactly like the rotate tool in terms of all of the, what we talked about with the rotate tool, where if you hold it on the blue face and then hold shift down, it's gonna maintain that axis while you're moving around, and it follows along the faces of whatever it is that you're working with. But one thing that's interesting about it is that it's really not a rotate tool. It's really like a rotating guide tool. So, for example, if I start along this point and click once, and I want to find out or create a guideline off of this angle, off of this line, and I want to get that angle at 15 degrees, click again. So this is going to give me a guide right off of this point that's going to create an angle for me. And I can do the same thing again if I wanted to see what it would look like at 45. So I type in 45, enter, and that gives me my 45 degrees off of that point. And if I wanted to see how what I need to do to get to this line to this point, I might go back to my tape measure tool and double click on it, and now I've got a point here that I can click on there. So I've created a little point with my tape, and now I might be able to open this up and orbit around a little bit and push pull with my push pull tool to that point and use that point as a reference. So then I can, and of course I'm just making an arbitrary shape here, but this is just for the example. Now I can push pull this down, and I've created a shape that I might not have found as easily without the use of these guides. Let me go ahead and close this. Click to close. I can also use my tape measure tool to click from one point to find that midpoint, or to find any other point along this. The midpoint I'm just choosing because I know it's easy to snap to. But from here, I can now create a protractor guide off of this point, clicking in this direction, and I can click at whatever point I want. In this case, let's do something more like 75. And now I can open this up by double clicking and using my line tool. Oops, excuse me. Go ahead and click on the line tool and click to that point, and go ahead and push pull this face down and click. So in reality, what I would probably ultimately really do is I would make this piece here into one shape and this piece here into one shape. But for the purposes of this quick example, you can see, that you can use the protractor and you can use the tape measure tool in conjunction with one another to create pretty much any series of shapes you want. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of the protractor. I'll use it more when we're in a practical application as we go on. But let's move on to the next tool.